Want to know anything and everything related to pets? You're in the right place. Join us as we talk to pet industry experts about pet fitness and health, pet travel, foods and recipes, pet horoscopes, and much, much more. This episode is brought to you by Fido Fitness and Play, the pet industry's leader in pet transportation. This is Everything Pets with your host, Ed Walden.
Hello, Everything Pets podcast family. This is your host and friend, Ed Walden, and I'm chatting with you from the Fido Fitness and Play Power Center, located in Washington, D.C. Today we have with us Dr. Rachel Geller. Dr. Geller is a certified cat behaviorist and certified pet chaplain. She also is the author of the book, Saving the World One Cat at a Time. Throughout the world, Dr. Geller has helped hundreds of families understand and solve their cats' issues. We'll get into what Dr. Geller does in a minute, but let's first laugh with a good joke. Be careful, this one might actually be funny. What does a cat have that no other animal on earth has? Kittens. So, what did you think? Maybe funny, maybe just a little bit this time?
I think not.
Did you know that in terms of development, the first year of a cat's life is equal to the first 15 years of a human's life? The second year of a cat's life is equal to an additional 9 years. After the second year of a cat's life, each additional year is equal to about 4 human years. Using this formula, a 10-year-old cat is similar to a 53-year-old human, a 12-year-old cat to a 61-year-old person, and a 15-year-old cat to a person who is 73. Long live the cats!
Hi, pet parents! Zoe Dove here. And I want to tell you about our friends at Fido Fitness and Play, North America's #1 pet transportation service. Fido Fitness and Play has been safely transporting pets since 2008 in clean, temperature-controlled vehicles reliably and on time. If you need pet transportation service, call our friends at Fido Fitness and Play at 844-738-3973 or visit their website at fidofitnessandplay.com. You can find them on Twitter at DCFido.
Welcome back, pet lovers, and thank you to Zoe for sharing our sponsors' info on pet transportation, Fido Fitness and Play. Well, we've waited long enough. Let's bring on Dr. Rachel Geller and chat about cat behavior, why they do what they do. Dr. Geller, thanks for being on the Everything Pets podcast.
Thrilled to be here as a guest.
Thank you. Now, I read your history with cats and how you got involved with them. Can you share with our audience how your journey with cats began?
I can, and I think it began when I was a very little girl. I was that kid who would go out on walks. For some reason, I would always come across a parade of stray cats who desperately needed me and needed my help, and I was always bringing these cats home. My parents were accepting of that. We lived in a large house up in Maine with a large yard. I very much grew to love these cats, but I think what really set me on the journey of wanting to be a good steward for cat ownership and responsible pet ownership was my dad. My dad was a rabbi. He taught me many lessons around empathy, respect, and responsibility around animals. And the first one he taught me, and I can remember it very clearly, I was a little girl, maybe having breakfast. I was maybe 6 or 7 years old. I'd brought home a cat. And he came down and saw me eating breakfast, and he said, "Have you fed your cats?" And I said, "No, Dad, I will after I eat breakfast." And he said, "No, those animals are dependent upon you. Those animals are vulnerable, and that's your responsibility. You always need to feed your cats before you feed yourself." And he taught me very many lessons like that, and that really set me on the path of wanting to do something to care for the animals that we are responsible for. And I love cats so much. So I sort of combined my love of cats with responsible pet ownership, and here I am.
Now, has your love for animals always been exclusively toward cats?
I really love all animals, and I care about all animals. I grew up with 4 cats and 2 dogs and a few guinea pigs thrown in here and there. But
Wow.
I've always been a cat person at heart. So while I love and respect and care for all living creatures and all sentient beings, my heart is really with the cats.
Now, do you believe that all cats can become household cats, or are there some that should just remain feral?
I think it's really important to judge the situation very carefully and evaluate the cat. So a cat who lives in a colony and a cat who is hardwired to be feral should never be relocated from that colony. That colony is that cat's home. And in fact, many cats who are removed from their colonies, and I think with good intent, people feel badly seeing cats outside, but often cats who are removed from their colonies try to get back home. They try to find their colony again, and they often get lost and die on their journey back to get back to their colony. So it's very important to evaluate cats in colonies. Some colony cats may be previously owned cats or friendly strays. Those cats perhaps could be household pets or maybe even barn cats. And many strays were abandoned cats or cats who had homes. So I do think it's important to evaluate the situation, look at the whole, don't look at the cat in a vacuum. Having said that, I have socialized many fearful cats, shy cats, stray cats who are not feral, and with socialization techniques have been able to become wonderful, wonderful companion cats in a home.
Now, do all cats love their humans in the same way?
Well, just like people, cats do show affection in different ways. So some of us, send flowers or like to meet in person, have coffee or pick up the phone. Cats are the same. They have their own unique ways to express love and affection. Some cats may give a headbutt. Some cats may trill and purr. Some cats might roll over and expose their bellies and say, "Rub me now." I have a cat who has to be on my lap all the time, and another one who's okay just kind of sitting next to me. So just like us, they all have their own preferences, their own ways of communicating, their own ways of seeking out affection, and that's fine. They're all acceptable and they're all okay.
Now, can expressing love towards your cat in a human way, as we love our family members, cause behavioral issues with our cats?
Well, we always want to be aware of respecting our cat's boundaries and respecting our cat's preferences. But I would say this would go for humans too. But in general, think about how cats perceive the world. There are some things that cats might find a little threatening. If you just walk straight towards a cat and go to lean over that cat and pick him up, that could cause a cat to be afraid. Another thing to think about is direct eye contact. If you haven't yet formed a bond with your cat, that a cat might find that threatening. But I do find that as the cat settles in and you learn about your cat and your cat learns about you, you'll quickly figure out, what your cat's likes, your cat's dislikes. So I always say to people, let the cat set the pace of the interactions, follow the cat's lead, and usually when you do that, everything will work out fine.
Now, do you find it easier for a kitten to acclimate to a new environment as opposed to an adult cat?
Well, for kittens, it might be a little bit easier because they haven't had any previous experiences. But I only adopt adult cats because they're more difficult to find homes for. And I have always found that with patience, time, and understanding, an adult cat can absolutely settle in and be a very, very loving companion.
Now, there's lots of superstitions floating around about cats. Black cats are a sign of bad luck, or if a cat sneezes 3 times, someone will catch a cold, or if the cat gets wet, it's going to rain. This makes certain people behave differently around cats. Does this impact cats that interact with those who subscribe to those superstitions?
Absolutely. So I work with a lot of shelters and rescues. The black cats are always the last to be adopted. They're the least adoptable cats. And it really just breaks my heart because black cats, like all cats, are wonderful pets, beautiful companions. And it does affect the cat's life very much because they're just harder to adopt. They spend more time in shelters and it's very difficult. And around Halloween, abuse of black cats always goes up. Often black cats are harmed, tortured in some way by people who have various superstitions around black cats and Halloween. I just feel that that's just tragic in this day and age that that's still happening. So yes, various superstitions and old wives' tale absolutely can affect the health and welfare of cats.
Now, do cats feed off of negative energy that their humans release, such as fear or lack of confidence, anger, etc.?
Absolutely. That's a great question because we do emit certain smells and things that cats pick up on when we're afraid or nervous, sad, grieving, happy, and cats are extremely perceptive when it comes to these very small things that we're emitting. But to the cat, it's very powerful. An excellent example of that is people who have a veterinarian appointment for their cat and they are nervous about the appointment. So people will tell me they have a cat who is always out and about, but the day of the vet appointment, the cat is hiding under the bed. Well, how did the cat know that there's a vet appointment that day? Well, typically an owner might be stressing over if something's wrong with the cat, getting the cat into the carrier, knowing it's stressful for the cat. So as the person is stressing out, and that's causing us to emit various chemicals, adrenaline, and signals to the cat will pick up on that and think to herself, oh, my human is really stressing out. I better go hide. So yes,
Wow.
they do pick up on our stress, on our signals, on our smells. And cats know when we are grieving, when we're sad, and they know when we're feeling good as well. So they really are very, very perceptive creatures.
Now, what about new behaviors that may arise after living with a cat for some time, such as bowel movements outside of the box or urinating on furniture, cats attacking one another? Are these telltale signs of something wrong physically, or is it more emotional?
I actually find a lot of litter box problems are caused by humans unintentionally, and I'll tell you what I mean. So many people go a little bit overboard on the concept of privacy. We think we want privacy when we go to the bathroom, so they assume that the cat wants privacy too, and they'll do things like covered litter boxes or placing the litter box under something or tucked behind something. This is the exact opposite of what a cat wants. Cats actually feel vulnerable in their litter boxes. They're afraid of potentially being ambushed by an opponent or an invader. So they actually prefer their litter boxes to be uncovered somewhere out in the open where they can have clear, clean sight lines and can see all the way around them. When we look at things from a human perspective and not a cat perspective, we can set up our cats for having litter box issues. Another perfect example of this is those plastic linings that go in litter boxes. Their claws can get stuck on the plastic can cause the urine to pool, and then the cat won't use the box again. So that's another example of a human convenience that can cause a litter box problem. So I do find that when it comes to cats not using the box, it's really important for me to look at where the box is, the location of the box, the size of the box, the litter in the box. Many cats don't like that perfumey scented litter. It's not very realistic to what they would have outdoors. And guide the cat owner into choosing a better litter box setup, perhaps litter box products, or even the box itself. I mean, the box that you bought when your cat was a kitten is not going to be a suitable size when your cat is an adult, particularly if you have a big breed like a Maine Coon. So really looking at that box, the litter, the location is extremely important when I solve cat behavior problems around litter box use.
Does nutrition necessarily play a part in a cat's behavior at home?
When it comes to food and nutrition, I'm a little lax on this. My feeling is if your cat is eating it and your cat is happy and healthy, let it be. Because cats are very picky, and that adage that if you leave the food out long enough, your cat will eventually eat it is just not true. Cats are extremely finicky and picky. So feed your cat what your cat likes. I mean, absolutely try to get your cat to eat a high quality cat food. But at the end of the day, if he's not eating it, all that high quality isn't getting us too far. So I feel like find a food that your cat will eat, that your cat tolerates. And any food that's sold, in your major pet supply stores or Chewy or things like that, those foods are all government okay. You don't have to really worry about something being harmful to your cat. So some foods are less expensive than others, but they all have to meet minimum requirements. So you can feel okay no matter what your budget or situation is with your cat if you're getting something at one of the major pet supply stores.
I know that you are a pet chaplain. Can you tell our listening audience more about what your role is as a pet chaplain?
Yes. So my role as a pet chaplain is to really provide pastoral care, be there as witness through the pet loss journey, and provide comfort to the person who has lost a pet. And I focus on cats, but I absolutely work with other pet loss as well. And I think this is a very important role because often pet owners, when they lose their pet, feel what's called disenfranchised grief. they feel like their grief isn't taken seriously. People will say, oh, it was just a cat. You can get another cat. And there really isn't a place for people who have lost a pet to turn to for pastoral care in many situations. And people will find that their family and friends may not even understand. You know, when you lose a person, you sort of have a status, for lack of a better term. You're the bereaved, and you get a bereavement period. And it's kind of a playbook for what to do. The people who want to comfort you know what's expected. They know what to do. They know they should not in COVID right now, but they can attend the calling hours, go to the funeral, go something at the home that the people might be having, visiting hours. There are cards you can buy that are already written out for you. You sign your name. There's kind of a playbook, so to speak, when you want to comfort someone who's lost a person. But not so much when people have lost a pet. So it's my role to be there for those people. And I will often hear people tell me they were more upset and devastated when they lost their cat or their dog than some people in their lives. So it's a very, very important part of what I do, and it's something I take very seriously. And I'm very happy to be there for people who have lost their cat or their dog or any other pet. And I've been there myself. I understand how devastating it can be.
Now, what's involved in assisting cat owners grieve the loss of their cat?
One thing I really try to help people do is think of ways within their home that they can create what I call continuing bonds. So that cat or dog or pet is still with you, just in a different way. So how can I help cat owners or pet owners through that? Perhaps creating a shrine to your pet, some pictures and some reminders, maybe some type of a picture book or area where you have mementos. So I try to help people create what I call continuing bonds by making something or doing something that keeps the cat with them in some way.
Now, here in Washington, D.C., many churches in the area host their annual Blessing of the Animals. Are there any particular ceremonies that you officiate?
I will do funerals and services for people who have lost their pets, and it's such a special honor for me. I feel so honored and blessed to work with people and to comfort people who loved something that much and were loved back by something that much. It's really a beautiful tribute to be part of.
Now, do you believe that animals have souls?
100%. I do believe that animals have souls, and I do believe that someday I will see them again and they will see me again.
So do you believe that animals go to heaven?
I do. I believe that they're sentient beings. They love and they grieve and they think. They absolutely have souls. Anybody who has ever been there when their cat has died will tell you that they can tell when the soul has left the body. Absolutely. There's not a doubt in my mind.
Now, Dr. Geller, many of our listeners emailed questions to the show, and we've selected a handful. Do you have a few moments to answer about 3 or 4 before we run out of time?
I do, yes.
All right. Well, we have Shonda Walden from Washington, D.C. She asks, what is my cat trying to tell me when he constantly begs for my attention? He meows to wake me up in the mornings and jumps in my lap whenever I am on the phone.
Oh, well, you know, the rule with cat ownership is that you need to be paying attention to your cat 100% of the time, and you can never do anything else. End of story. So, all right, just a little bit of levity there. But, I mean, obviously your cat loves you, and your cat's feeling a little jealous when you're doing something else. Having said that, there are some techniques that we can use to ameliorate that. You can always engage your cat in interactive play. You can redirect and distract your cat with an interactive activity toy. Puzzle feeders are a great example of that. You know, if you're busy and you kind of tend to your cat, I love to toss a puzzle feeder. This will shift your cat out of sort of that anxious, intense mode, wanting to get your attention, into the positive mode of a hunter, which is very reassuring and feels good to a cat. So there are times that you want to redirect your cat, use either interactive play with a fishing pole type toy or some type of interactive activity toy such as puzzle feeders, and redirect him away from you using one of those techniques.
Lauren Curtis from Washington, D.C. asks, when my cat stops eating his food, does that mean I should buy him a new food or flavor within the same brand?
So cats are picky. And if you have a cat who for some reason has decided he no longer likes that flavor or no longer likes that texture. Stay within the brand because he was eating it before, and perhaps a different flavor or a different recipe might perk up his appetite a little bit. But if he's not eating it enough, you might want to try a completely different brand. You might have to fool around with it a little bit because cats are notoriously finicky eaters, but just make sure, I do want your audience to know, never let your cat go more than 3 days without eating at all.
Now, Vanessa Duncan from North Carolina asks, why does my cat constantly put his tail in my face? Is he trying to demonstrate dominance?
He is not. So often cats, I know it sounds kind of funny, but if a cat is not afraid to be looking at you directly, it means he trusts you completely. So it's just cat language for, I know you're not going to hurt me. I know I can't see you, but I'm totally okay with you. So cats really don't try to establish dominance with their humans. Cats will try to establish dominance with other cats, but they'll typically do that with vertical space or with some subtle posturing and intimidation, but they won't stick their tails in each other's faces.
Robin J. from Washington, D.C. asks, I have 2 cats, male and female. They're litter mates, over the age of 13, and have always lived together. The male cat attacks his sister regularly. She poops outside of the box now and urines on chairs and couches. Is there anything that I can do to prevent this?
Yes. So this is probably a bigger answer than we have time for now. So I would encourage this listener to go to my website, drrachelcatbehavior.com, fill out this question and submission form, and send it to me. I do all of my work completely free of charge. So go to the website, fill out the form, let me know what's going on. But bullet points. So if one cat is attacking the other enough that the other cat is afraid to use the box, we need to look at a few things. We need to look at how many boxes you have. We need to look at the locations of the box. Are there covers? Now, and why is that cat feeling like he needs to posture and intimidate the other cat? Maybe he needs more playtime and an opportunity for capture. So if the only stimulation and opportunity for capture and opportunity to kind of hunt and stalk is with the other cat, if that's the only opportunity in his life to do those things, he's going to take it out on the other cat. So make sure you're providing him with playtime, interactive play, enrichment opportunities so we can do that in an acceptable way rather than taking it out on the other cat. So those would be the first things I would look at.
Now, what do you mean by capture? Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. So when you play with the cat, the most important part is the capture. And so many people will play with their cats and think the way to play is how long you can keep the toy away from the cat. So say you're using a fishing pole type toy. The idea isn't how long you can keep the toy away from the cat. The idea is how often the cat can capture the toy.
Oh.
It's the captures that release all of those feel-good chemicals. It's the captures that provide the reward and satisfaction for a cat. And it's the captures that release tension and anxiety. So if this male cat who's attacking the other cat, if the only time he can get a capture is with the other cat, that could be the problem. So he just might need more opportunities to hunt and capture. Cats are natural hunters, and they need that time within their day to have captures involved with their playtime. So captures are really, really important. And this is why laser pointers are so bad for cats. They actually create a lot of behavior problems because think about it. The cat is pointlessly chasing this elusive red dot that can never be captured. So he sees it there bouncing on the wall or on the floor, and certain of a sure catch, he pounces, only to find nothing there. The cat must have a physical and tangible capture between his paws or in his mouth. So laser pointers were developed for PowerPoint presentations at the office, and that is where they should stay.
Wow. Well, we're going to leave that there. Dr. Geller, you've shared a lot of information that I'm sure our listeners could use. Now, if our listeners wanted to reach out to you, how could they?
So my website is drrachelcatbehavior.com, and it's drrachelcatbehavior drrachelcatbehavior.com. So drrachelcatbehavior.com, and doctor's just the DR, all one word. Go to the website. I have all kinds of information. I have all kinds of videos, and I have a submission form for any questions. And
Wonderful.
I do, like I said before, I do all of my work completely free of charge.
Wow. Now, what about social media?
I am on social media. I have a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram, and a LinkedIn. So I try to, keep those updated as much as I can.
Before we run out of time, can we talk about your book?
So my book is Saving the World One Cat at a Time, and it's what I refer to as an instructional memoir. So I tell a little bit of my story and how I got to being a cat behaviorist, but I also provide technique for cat behavior. I go through why your cat might be doing certain things. I talk about how to fix common cat behavior problems like litter box issues, inappropriate scratching, multi-cat households. Some of the questions we just received would be addressed in that book. It's available on Amazon, and I donate 100% of the proceeds from my book sales to cat shelters.
100%?
100%.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, Dr. Geller, you are now officially a part of the Everything Pets podcast, and we would love to have you come back soon.
I would love to come back, and I love being part of the Everything Pets podcast family.
That's Dr. Geller, everybody.
Hello, Everything Pets podcast listeners. We're excited to offer you Dr. Rachel Geller's riveting book, Saving the World One Cat at a Time, What I Know About Cats and Why You Should Know It Too. In Dr. Geller's book, you'll learn various strategies and techniques to address common cat problems such as litter box issues, behavioral and emotional problems, cat aggression, separation anxiety, and much more. Saving the World One Cat at a Time makes a great gift for the cat lover in your life, or keep it yourself as a resource to help you navigate through the world of cats. It's available on our website, www.talkingpets247.com, or find it on Amazon. Be sure to get your copy now while supplies last.
Well, animal lovers, I certainly had a great time talking cat talk with Dr. Rachel Geller today about cat behavior and her role as a pet chaplain. Dr. Geller has done an outstanding job helping cat parents understand their cats. Be sure to go to talkingpets247.com or Amazon to get Dr. Geller's book, Saving the World, One Cat at a Time. Until next time, my friends, always be kind to pets and animals because they'll be kind to you. Be sure to follow the Everything Pets podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Podcast Pets. And check out our website at TalkingPets247.com for special offers and product information. Okay, I'm Ed Walden, and I am out of here.
Hi, Daddy.
Love this episode of Everything Pets? Let us know with a review. Also, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Follow us on social media at Podcast Pets and check out our website at TalkingPets247.com. This episode is brought to you by Fido Fitness and Play, your pet transportation expert.